Alright, Math 1 students, today your essential question is how can you recognize a linear equation and how can you draw its graph? So, if we're given an equation, for example, y equals 1/2 x plus 1, we can choose any x value to fill in for x. That'll give us a y value. And when we do that, we will have ordered pairs, an x and a y value, that make an ordered pair, and we can graph the points on the line. Graph the points in the coordinate plane, and the points will give us a line. So I would choose numbers that multiply by 1/2 easily. So for example, the first one I would choose is 0. 1/2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. So my first ordered pair is 0, 1. And then I might choose 2. Half of 2 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So my second ordered pair would be 2, 2. So these are your solution points of the equation, 2 ordered pairs. And then we're going to go ahead and graph our solution points. So 0, 1 is here. And 2, 2 is here. So when I draw my line, you'll notice that I'm drawing the line the whole way through the graph on the outside to the outside, because lines continue on forever and ever. I don't want any short, stubby graphs. So extend your lines all the way, all the way, all the way. Find a different point on the line and check that this point is a solution. So I might see, it looks like 4, 3 might be a solution. So if we check our x and y values, if I fill in 4 for x, half of 4 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, and that is another solution point. We could pick -1, 0, it looks like. So if I fill in -1, let's see, or -2, 0, sorry. If I fill in -2, I get -1 plus 1, which is 0, so that is also a solution point. Choose 5 additional x values for the table. So I've already done an x value of 0, 2, 4, and -2. So I might choose -4, -10, 10, 20, and 8. You'll notice that those are all easily halved because of this half x. So -4, half of -4 is -2. -2 plus 1 is -1. Half of -10 is -5. -5 plus 1 is -4. Half of 10 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. Half of 20 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. Half of 8 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. Each of those points will lie on the line. -4, 2 is here. -10, 4 would be somewhere down here. 10, 6 would be somewhere up here. 20, 11 would be even further. And then 8, 5 is right around this area. Go ahead and turn your page. A linear equation is an equation that forms a line coordinate plane. And solutions of linear equations are ordered pairs that make the equation true. So if we were to graph y equals negative 2x plus 1, our first step is to make a table of x and y values. So I would say choose at least 3, maybe 0, 1, and 2. If I fill in 0 for x, negative 2 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. And negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Step 2 is plot your 3 points. So 0, 1 be here. 1, negative 1. And 2, negative 3. After we've plotted our points, we're just going to connect with a line. So here's what our line would look like. Again, the whole way through the graph, taking up the whole space. Alright, so to graph y equals 3, if we create a table of x and y values, no matter what x equals, this tells me that y always equals negative 3. So I can choose any value of y that I want, or x that I want, but y is always going to equal negative 3. So if x is 0, y is negative 3, x is 5, y is negative 3, x is negative 2, y is negative 3. So here's my line. Anytime I have a y equals a number, I have a horizontal line going through that number. Similarly, if I have x equals a number, x is always 2, and y could be anything. So when I graph this, x is 2, y is 0, x is 2, y is negative 2, x is 2, y is positive 2. So when I have x equals any number, I have a vertical line going through that x value. Alright, I'm going to have you graph for homework, so do your table, an XY chart, choose 3 x values, any 3 you'd like, any 3 that make the problem easier. Find your 3 points and draw your graphs for each one of these 4 problems. So if you chose 0, 1, and 2 for your x values, on this first one, 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. So when we graph, we have 0, 0, 1, 3, and 2, 6. So our line would look like this. Go ahead and try those 3 for homework. And we're going to take a look at a real life application. The wind speed y in miles per hour of a tropical storm is y equals 2x plus 66, where x is the number of hours after the storm enters the Gulf of Mexico. Graph the equation. So we have our graph. This is not going to be super simple to graph because if I choose x values, if I choose 0, 2 times 0 is 0, and then I have 66. So I completely understand that these are not simple to graph. Real life applications are generally not nice looking graphs. Just estimate, maybe count up by tens. So that might be here. And then we're going, if you're going up by tens, I might pick 10 and 20 just to make life simpler. So if x is 10, y would be 86, and so on and so forth. A tropical storm becomes a hurricane when wind speeds are at least 74 miles per hour. When does this particular storm become a hurricane? So if you go back and look, it'd be less than 10 hours. You have to figure out when does it hit 74. So you would have to try some different x values to figure out when we get to 74 here. You can do that one for homework. And finally, if the wind speed of the storm is y equals 1.5x plus 62, when does the storm become a hurricane? So again, when does it hit 74 miles per hour? Go ahead and try that one for homework as well. Make sure homework's done for tomorrow. Have a great night.